So I hope, Jan, you can hear us, or over to you. And yeah, over to you. And okay.
And you just need to give me the presenter rights so that I can move on. Your customer base is aging with you, then you are going to become obsolete or irrelevant. You need to be constantly figuring out who you are, or who are your new customers, and what are you doing to stay forever young. At Plesk, we host more than 11 million domains and 19 million mailboxes on 377,000 servers. And we partner with more than 2,500 hosters. Screen comes with a lag. And in the last 3 months, my team and me, we reviewed more than 400 service providers around the globe. And guess what? Most of them are completely outdated and still offer the same crap than ages ago. Do you still remember Alta Vista from 2000? I hated that website since it was too overloaded. And then there was Google. Clean, fast, focused on one purpose. And Alta Vista was dead. If we look at the hosting market, many web hosters still look like Alta Vista. And their products seem to not have changed at all in those years. And then there was DigitalOcean. Clean, fast, focused on one purpose, tailored for developers. And no, the others are not dead, of course. But which of the classical hosting companies has more than 370,000 servers and is growing at that incredible pace? Leonardo da Vinci said, simplicity is the ultimate simplification. So let's have a look at other simple solutions focusing at a specific target audience. Media Temple, for example, targets web agencies by selling Plesk as a pre-configured solution. Or Server4You, another GoDaddy brand, targets developers. WP Web Host provides managed WordPress hosting, of course, based on the WordPress toolkit. And HostPress, a German managed WordPress hoster, provides the fastest WordPress hosting in Germany, based on Plesk. But enough examples. Let's have a look at web professionals, who they are, how many exist, how they influence, and what their needs are. All in all, what are the latest trends in web development? Before digging deeper here, having a look at the trends, I would like to share some insights into how the web is currently built. Do you recognize those famous celebrities? What do all their websites have in common? They're all built with WordPress, like 29% of all websites worldwide. And so WordPress is and stays the most popular way of building websites ever. WordPress is the future, and that already since 10 years. And also successful companies with immense traffic per day use WordPress, like CNN or the official Star Wars blog, which probably has a lot of demand now in a few days before the new Star Wars movie will be shown in cinemas around the globe. In the past, people often said WordPress would be slow. But as you can see from the two previous slides, that's not true. WordPress can be super fast. Our own domain, Plesk.com, has millions of visitors each month and loads in less than 1 second in your browser. It is managed by WordPress Toolkit on Plesk. So let's have a look at worldwide usage numbers. Who powers the most popular websites in the world? Obviously, it's Google, Facebook, and Twitter. But if you look at the top 10,000 most visited websites in the world, 50% are Drupal. No one-click installers, of course, but custom-made setup. 25% are WordPress. Did you know that? And because it's so unbelievable, Here's again the number. 29% of all websites worldwide are WordPress, growing at 0.1% to 0.2% each month. The question is now, how many websites exist? There are different ways to count them, depending on if you could include own websites on subdomains or only main domains. According to internetlifestats.com, there are more than 1.2 billion own websites. And Netcraft even talks about 1.8 billion sites. On the other side, there are only 330 million registered domains in the world, which means that there are many unique websites running on subdomains like hps blog.mydomain.com or hps janloeffler.wordpress.com. The question is now, how are all the other remaining websites developed? With HTML, JavaScript, PHP, Joomla? Well, you can build your sites using a CMS like Drupal, Joomla, WordPress, Typo3, Magento, or you can use a website builder like Wix, webs.com, or Weebly. You can build your site just with pure PHP code, with JavaScript, like for example, even with server-side JavaScript with Node.js, or in any other language that you like Python or Go or Java, or just static HTML. And there are even CMS systems that produce static HTML. And I wanted to know exactly, so I was curious and asked on Twitter, but even if I started a nice developer battle, there's not representative. So let's ask the pros. And there are many companies that scan the whole internet continuously. So here are some examples of the most prominent ones, like BuildWith, Data Provider, Probe the Net, W3Text, or Netcraft. Next slide, come. And this is the work of many months of investigation looking at the top 10 to 100 million websites. In the gray area on the right, you see you find everything that's not listed on the right. Hundreds of other small open source CMS website builders and sites built on pure code. But according to W3Text, there is a global trend here. And you see the green line is the amount of websites that don't use a CMS is declining, while WordPress is outperforming everything else. In numbers again, here you see again the 29, meanwhile even 0.1% of all sites using WordPress, and Joomla, the absolute number 2, with 3.2%, quickly followed by Drupal with 2.3%, Magento has 1.1%, and Blogger on the 5th place with 0.9% of market share. And the last two lost a lot towards WordPress in the last month. By the way, regarding Magento, PrestaShop, did you know that 42% of all online stores worldwide are based on WooCommerce, which is WordPress again? The question is now, who hosts all these websites? Or who's the largest web hoster in the world? To answer this one, you have to differentiate between who has the most registered domains, who powers most websites, who has the most public-facing servers, who are the most customers. So GoDaddy and United Internet have still the most domains, still. But who has the most servers? If you look at the amount of servers, there's an effect that many hosters ignored for long that is changing the whole industry since a while. I call it the cloud tsunami. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to show real numbers because of copyright here, but those hyperscalers look on a chart like, you know what I mean. Burj Khalifa represents AWS, Alibaba, while the next building H followed by Hessner. And John Kabat-Zinn once said, if you cannot stop the waves, then learn to surf. And learning to surf means understanding your customers to provide them the best possible service that they won't get elsewhere. And so you move from providing infrastructure, which becomes commodity, to providing solutions, which are anyway much more profitable. Now the question is which solutions to sell. And here we get back to our beloved web professionals. Why? Because SMBs usually don't build their sites using Wix.com or messing up their site alone. Instead, they outsource that to a web agency, who meanwhile most probably uses WordPress to develop websites for their customers. And those agencies are professionals with needs. Web professionals are people like Dan, Mark, John, or Sam, whose business it is to develop professional websites and to earn money with it. This target audience is very interesting since while earning money, they are willing to pay more money for more value that saves their time, because time is their most costful thing. Because for web agencies, it's not the cheapest price that counts. It's all about throughput and how many customers they can make happy. Out of 16.8 million professional developers around the world, there are more than 12 million web developers. And the question is, what do they actually need? If you go on tech conferences, like I do a lot, and ask developers worldwide, you hear them often talking about Node.js, AngularJS, React, and Docker. And in numbers, it looks like this. So still, people use a CMS like WordPress to build their sites. And they use WooCommerce to build their online store. But on the other hand, you see the immense growth of JavaScript frameworks like React, Node, or Angular. And something that you have to keep in mind is that 70% of developers worldwide use Git as their primary source control system. You see, the slide doesn't open. Organizers, can you quickly take this quick pause away, please? All right. Can you take the next slide, please? Doesn't work. All right, now it works. So more than 70% of developers worldwide use Git as their primarily source control system. But why do so few hosters offer that, if it's that important? And the last 2 years, we talked to tons of web agencies, how they work, and more than 90% of them use Git to manage their websites of their clients. But when it comes to production, they have to use what the hoster of their clients provides. This is in most cases FTP upload. Can you believe that? I haven't used FTP since years, since all my websites are pushed to production via Git. This statistic shows the most popular programming languages of 2017, surveyed by Stack Overflow, which is one of the most popular developer sites in the web. And now, since numbers can be boring over time, slide doesn't show up. Here, my favorite joke. When I wrote this code, only God and I understood. Now only God does. Okay, looking at numbers again. Let's have a look at the market share of web servers. Apache is declining since years while Nginx is growing fast. Keeping in mind many outdated hosters, it's no wonder that Apache does not decline faster. It becomes more visible if we look at the 1 million most active websites by traffic. Nginx is even more dominant here, as you can see. Now the question could be, okay, on which servers do these web servers actually run? Since it's totally clear that Linux powers most active websites, let's have a look at the Linux distribution that is used. And here we can see another big trend in the developer community. While hosters are often still focusing on CentOS, in the cloud space, whether it's Docker or AWS, Ubuntu outperforms CentOS by far and has a way larger market share. Talking about Docker, this is one of the fastest growing technologies in the dev scene. It was published in 2013 and accelerated from 13% in 2015 to 30% in June 2016, which means that according to RightScale, already more than 30% of all IT companies worldwide use Docker, and another 35% are planning to. And you might wonder, what are the most recommended use cases? Yeah, what I recommend is to boost your site performance with caching. Host your own cloud solution with OwnCloud or Nextcloud. Run databases like Mongo or a search server like Solr, or run your complete continuous integration server with Jenkins, or any code inside a Docker container. Another interesting topic. Be aware that there are more than 60,000 websites hacked each day. So securing a server, including all the website it runs, is a key topic for any hosting company or site owner. Hacked sites can cause huge costs for hosting companies when these infected sites are used as bots for DDoS attacks or to manipulate customers' websites with malicious code. So whatever product you offer to your clients, make sure to always provide the latest versions and patch regularly. We at Plesk patch PHP or WordPress within 48 hours on all servers. How fast are you? And this makes Plesk the leading WebOps platform and control panel to run, automate, and grow applications, websites, and hosting businesses. So just sell managed WordPress hosting, an e-commerce solution, or premium email for SMBs, or just put all these pieces together individually. Here you see an example how to target SMBs with a Plesk business server, with having Colab as collaboration and email solution. Or you target developer hosting or developers with a product based on Plesk with SSH access, Python support, Docker and Git. Or you offer a complete continuous delivery deployment pipeline, all based on Plesk, with the support of Git, Jenkins, and Docker containers. Vincent van Gogh said, "Great things are done by a series of small things brought together." So whatever your target audience is, we have the right tools and extensions ready for you. So just choose Plesk as a platform and configure whatever tool you need. And here is a small summary of some of the most used extensions on Plesk. There are extensions for email security, for the user experience of email, for security of the website or the web server, server tools, tools for building websites, and solutions for agencies. So just have a look at our extension catalog inside Plesk to check out new extensions that we continuously launch. And add a personalized welcome experience for your customers based on one of our open source welcome extensions on plesk.com, on github.com/plesk. You find open source solutions there. You can easily fork it and customize it based on your needs. And so have a personalized experience for your customer. Now don't wait. Get your license key for Plesk from plesk.com now, if you don't have one yet. Install it on any virtual or bare metal machine, Linux or Windows, doesn't matter, and select your preferred extensions supporting your needs. And if you have more questions about what developers really want and how to offer the right solutions, just send me a message to build something great. Just remember one thing. Plesk simplifies the lives of web professionals. And Plesk provides a platform to put all solutions for online businesses together. Plesk is the fuel for your business. Plesk is your surfboard to ride the waves of the cloud tsunami. So the weather is great, the waves are fine, you just need to surf and enjoy business. And the tsunami, you will survive. So Plesk is the leading web apps platform and control panel to run, automate, and grow applications, websites, and hosting businesses. Thank you for your attention. Let's have a look at if we have some questions. If you have questions, then just post them in the chat box. So no questions until now. Otherwise, send me a message to jan@plesk.com and I'll answer it directly to you.
Jan, we got a couple of questions.
Okay.
Which web server is best for WordPress from a performance point of view?
That's a very good question because you can't answer it in general, because it always depends how you actually configure everything. But I can give you insight about how you actually achieve the fastest WordPress experience. So usually for massive load, you say that Nginx performs faster, but that really highly depends on the environment. So for example, Apache might be faster for executing PHP, while Nginx has its strengths when responding with static content. The best performance you get if you put all the static content in a CDN to reduce the latencies to your customers. When doing that, and you offload everything that is static on your website, then you can use Apache for best performance. And the best combination that you can get is if you're professional, then use Varnish on edge servers, like for example using a CDN like Fastly. Configure the VCL files directly from your WordPress site, and this way you get the most out of your website. So that only dynamic content is produced on the web server running, for example, Apache.
Okay, thanks, Jan. Next question is, what is the cost implications of using Plesk?
What is the, again, please?
The cost implications of using Plesk.
The cost implications? You mean what Plesk costs?
Yeah, you can address it from that point of view.
Okay, so that depends highly on how you actually use it. So the biggest difference is already, do you run, as for example in SMB, one website on one Plesk server? Then the question is, what is the traffic that you expect from your customers? And how many parallel requests per second do you expect? So then it depends really on the hardware sizing. But from a Plesk license point of view, if you are a small SMB having several websites on one server and you want to run it with WordPress, then use the Web Pro edition, which comes at around $15 per month. But if you're a web hosting company offering managed WordPress hosting to your customers, then you need to take the Web Host edition, because you need reseller management and you need the possibility to create service plans and subscriptions. And here we see hosters that run up to 2,000 WordPress sites on one server. Even this is an extreme option. I wouldn't recommend for that, but you can go for like 300 to 500 WordPress instances per server. It really depends on the hardware that you use, on the caching, tuning, and on the performance metric of your server, of your customers. So whatever the site they run. If they run a lot of WooCommerce online stores, then definitely the amount of sites reduces, because those customers have a need for more performance, for more RAM, and so on. You also can directly host or offer solutions, like if you look at the WordPress server or the business server, then costs start at $50 a month by including already 10 users for premium email. and then it depends on which extensions you take. So for example, if you want to have a super web application firewall and server security with Immunify 360, then there are some costs coming on top. So it's really up to you to decide what you need for your offer and which extensions you take. If you want to have a full overview about the prices, go to plesk.com/pricing and have a look at the extension catalog. There you see the prices as well.
Thanks, Jan. The next one is this WebOps platform hosted on any cloud?
Yeah, actually we are growing the fastest on hyperscalers. Just to give you some idea, not long ago, just a few weeks ago, we just launched a Plesk image on the Google Commute platform on the marketplace, and we had already thousands of Google instances within just a few weeks. So this shows the high demand of Plesk on hyperscalers, and it's growing fast. Whether it's AWS, where we just launched on AWS Lightsail, or Alibaba, or Google, or Microsoft Azure. So there's a high demand behind this. But in the end, it doesn't matter because Plesk is fully OS agnostic and cloud agnostic. So you can run it on-premise on any server. It doesn't matter whether it's Intel or AMD, or you can run it in virtualized environments where it doesn't matter if you use Xen, KVM, or Virtuoso or OpenVSet. You can even run it in Docker, inside a Docker container, but that's not recommended for production. And obviously on all the hyperscalers.
Thanks, Jan. We have another interesting question. Can Plesk help a typical cloud solution provider who doesn't do web hosting as primary business?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. And here, the best is if you get in contact with me, and I connect you with my colleagues to help you with that. We have to then define what the product or the offer will look like. What we see is that there is a strong need for example, a managed solutions where somebody offers support. Others take it unmanaged. So really, we have a very diverse product portfolio where there's target audiences for every situation, and we just need to figure out who do you focus at and what is the right offer for your customers' needs.
Okay, thank you. Next question is, does Plesk support file cluster solution?
That's a very good question. So Plesk itself is not made for high availability to do auto-scaling across different nodes. This is something we keep in mind and we would love to do, and we have samples, for example, also how to scale WordPress with auto-scaling across several nodes to perform like 20,000 requests per second. But these are all internal projects. Plesk that you can get on the market only supports hosting a website on one server. What we do have is Plesk multi-server, which allows you to put several Plesk servers in one cluster, but still every web space is only hosted on one of the nodes. It's not hosted on several nodes in a high availability world. At least not yet.
Thank you. Next question is, can I host enterprise applications on the platform?
Depends on the enterprise application. So Plesk itself supports different programming languages, is just a Linux, and with a fully configured environment with web servers and so on. So it really depends on the application and what you treat as enterprise application. You can also run applications in Docker containers, and as you might know, there are even now, meanwhile, enterprise applications certified for Docker containers from SAP, from Oracle, and so on. So that works, and that obviously works also on Plesk servers. So really depends. What Plesk brings to the game is then an easy way to manage the domain, the name servers, create mailboxes additionally, and stuff like this.
Okay, thank you. There was another question about how about web servers like Lightspeed who advertise some plugins for WordPress to boost performance. Can you shed some light on them?
Yes, absolutely. So Plesk supports different web servers. We have Nginx, Apache, IIS, and Lightspeed. So Lightspeed, you can install that via the Plesk extension. There are hosts that run managed WordPress hosting based on Lightspeed. So it's possible. And there you have then different advantages like using Apache, but it's up to you what you use.
Okay, thank you. How can I migrate my current workload to Plesk, and what help can Plesk offer on those lines?
Very good question. So Plesk comes with the Plesk Migrator out of the box. This is an extension that's deeply integrated in Plesk that allows you to migrate websites from other servers. You obviously can even migrate from other control panels. So if you used maybe cPanel before or direct admin, then you can move the whole server, including all websites, to Plesk. That's totally seamless. There's a nice UI, or you can do it from shell if you like. And with the Plesk Migrator, you can even directly import existing websites by just specifying your FTP credentials. Plesk will then connect to the web space, make a database dumps, and copy the whole website to Plesk and start it up.
Okay, thank you. Can I consider Plesk as a container, like a software layer or an application layer, etc.?
Plesk is not a container. It's more like a platform that sits on top of the operating system and configures the whole system, controls the resource management and configuration of web servers and so on. And it's a platform to a lot of extensions and tools and applications, excuse me, where it's easy to run your applications like a WordPress, a Drupal, a Magento, or whatever application you want to run. Or you run your application by building your website with Node.js, for example. Also that works. Or with Ruby, or with Python. Or you spin up Docker containers like I showed before in the presentation, like an own cloud, which is just like one click in Plesk and you have an own cloud running.
Okay. How about email migrations from another Plesk or control panel to new servers running Plesk?
So that works as well. And here it really depends on how you want to move the emails and if you want to connect directly via IMAP. So there are different ways how to do that. And there, post me a message if you're interested in details so that I understand your use case exactly. There are even companies that have solutions for that. For example, Outriga, that do IMAP migration or POP3 migration or whatsoever. So there are possibilities for that.
Okay. What is your largest migration you have done thus far from cPanel to Plesk?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm looking into the round. Does anybody know? They can't hear me. Just a second. What is the largest migration we've ever done from cPanel to Plesk? Anybody know? The largest migration we have done from cPanel to Plesk?
Madan, you are unmuted if you can answer.
Well,
so
we have a customer.
Yeah, Madan,
okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, we have a customer in the region who have done a migration from cPanel to Plesk, and the data size of his one server is about I think about 50 GB, but I can cross check. So this is I'm talking about just one server, and he did it about for hundreds of his servers on an average data size of 50 GB each. And he's one of the largest hoster in the region, now a completely 100% Plesk customer.
But I can say that we're doing migrations from, or seeing migrations from cPanel to Plesk almost daily. So that happens all the time. which is great for us. If you are interested in more numbers, then just post me a message and I'll get in contact with you.
Okay, thank you. How about backup and business continuity with Plesk? How do you handle that?
Very good. So regarding backup, there are several opportunities or several possibilities how to do backup. So Plesk itself comes already with a native backup. Now, if you just have a look at the latest preview of the next Plesk version, which comes out in March, which is Plesk Onyx 17.8, there you have even natively the possibility to store backups in Amazon S3, in Google Drive, in OneDrive, and so on. So even more possibilities. And we're shortly before launching a Acronis backup as an extension directly inside Plesk, so that you are able to back up to the cloud with one click and everything works smoothly. So there are different ways of doing backups. Also, you have regarding business continuity, one thing that is important is to have a good monitoring system. And here, for example, we have an integration with Uptime Robot that you can use so that you're aware if your site goes down, you get SMS notification and stuff like this.
Okay. Can you shed some insights into what your roadmap looks like for 2018?
Absolutely. So regarding the roadmap, we have some absolute highlights there. So the next big release, Plesk Onyx 17.8, will be released in March. And so what we focused on a lot is the user experience. We know already from our Net Promoter Score tracking that customers already love our user experience and prefer us much over cPanel. That's great. That's already good news. But we don't stop there because we think that the whole user experience of Plesk can be much, much better in comparison to cloud services that you know from Facebook maybe. And so this means that you can see already new user experience in Plesk in the new extension catalog. So there will be more features coming, like the WordPress toolkit will be completely renovated and done from scratch with a complete new user experience, which will be absolutely awesome. All these new parts are built, by the way, with React.js, which makes Plesk super fast. So you won't have loading times anymore because then if you click somewhere, the whole page doesn't have to be loaded again, which speeds up the whole user experience as well. So these are things that we focus at. Then another topic is SSL everywhere. So already Plesk is deeply integrated with Let's Encrypt. Now we just added semantic SSL as well. So you have the choice whether you use Let's Encrypt or semantic. With semantic, you have even the chance to get EV and OV certificates. And with DigiCert, it's highly trusted as well. And what we improved there is that you can get SSL out of the box for everything. So the panel is secured with SSL, all the websites are secured, and you don't have to do anything for it. So that's one of the big things. And then I have some absolute innovations that don't exist in the market yet, but have a high demand after having talked to hundreds of web agencies and web developers around the world. But I'm not going to spoil that now. So you will have to wait until March for this firework of innovations that will be available from then in Plesk.
Okay. Thanks, Jan.
And maybe to add, at the moment we have more than 106 extensions in our extension catalog. We have already 40 more extensions in the pipeline, and there are more coming up. So you will see solutions for every need of web professionals within Plesk. And that makes it really the most complete platform that you can get to build and manage your websites and online businesses.
Okay. Thank you. There's another interesting question. I am a hoster now. I am struggling to make money in my business. And does Plesk offer some kind of a turnkey solution to help us?
Definitely, yes. We have a lot of success stories of hosters that make a lot of money with our solution. The question is, in which market are you? Which is your target audience? Who do you want to address? And so on. So it's not like do manage WordPress hosting and then it's done. It really depends on what is your core competency, how's your support team structured, what are your skill sets, which customers can you reach, what is your print awareness, and so on. So if you need help here, post me a message. I can give you some advice. There are definitely solutions, but I'm resistant to say use this solution because that would be out of the context and might not be the best in every situation.
The next question is Plesk available on an automation provisioning mode from any platforms right now?
So a new automation platform, here I would like to forward you, for example, to our partner Ragnap. That would be a good company to talk to if you're interested in this one. Besides this, you can have Plesk automated on hyperscalers, but then you have still the billing thing. So if you are referring to something like Carol's automation from the past, there's something there isn't at the market at the moment.
Okay.
So no out-of-the-box solution with billing and everything.
Got it. What kind of SLAs do you offer? It's a very broader question, I would say.
Yeah.
It's
a bit too broad because in the end, we sell software and we give SLAs about how fast we patch PHP, WordPress, how to keep it secure, about our quality support SLA and stuff like this. What we don't do, we don't host Plesk for you. This is something you have to do on your own. And or you take a hyperscaler, or you take a hoster that hosts Plesk and you offer managed servers on top of it. So there are tons of ways how to do that, and then different SLAs would be applicable.
Okay, thank you. Can you explain a little bit more about AWS and Plesk image, what you were referring earlier?
Absolutely, yeah. So there are different Plesk images already on the AWS marketplace. We started with that when we saw that last year there were thousands of Plesk servers running on AWS, and we were wondering how that came and why people are then using Plesk on AWS, and we see a huge demand there. So we created Amazon Machine images and put them into the marketplace, which is a great success until now, and growing fast. And then we started to make more targeted solutions because Plesk is a platform that can do everything. But how do you explain to some web developer to use Plesk if this web developer is actually just interested in hosting his WordPress site? So we started to pre-configure Plesk and embed an own onboarding experience or welcome experience. So we built solution servers, and there we have the Plesk WordPress solution and the Plesk Business Server, and both come pre-configured with own welcome experience, with extensions pre-bundled, all on AWS, and you can spin it up there. And since just a few days since AWS reInvent, we're now also available on AWS Lightsail. And maybe to add, we launched just recently a lot of extensions for AWS, and there are more coming up. So you can, for example, move your database from Plesk to RDS, which is the relational database storage of AWS, which is fully managed. That allows you to scale better. You can run your back up your Plesk server to S3. And we're working on more solutions that help you to configure your CDN, for example, and deal with everything that you need within AWS.
Okay. Thank you. Do you have any plans of working with other hyperscalers like Microsoft, IBM?
We do. We just launched also Azure DNS, which is the similar extension like we have already for AWS with Route 53. And we launched DigitalOcean DNS. And currently we have partnerships with Amazon, with Microsoft, with Google, and with Alibaba. And those are the ones that we currently work with.
Okay. The next one is, we are an SMB and hosted with Yahoo, and the business is declining. We want to host with AWS and change the business model. How can we get support from Plesk?
Yeah, that's a very good thing. Depends on how many servers you run at Yahoo. And if you want, so the easiest part is actually to just move to Amazon Web Services. It's quite simple. We have a lot of documentation about that. I recommend the AWS migration tutorial extension that you find in the extension catalog to get some first insights how you move your existing server to AWS, which shown quite easy. And if you're interested in more tuning, then best is if you call our support, and they can help you and tell you which configuration you should use and so on. And then we can get through, so what is the best EC2 instance type for your workload, and so on, and what extensions should you bundle, and stuff like this. So it's not an answer that I can give per se. You really have to look into your business to find out, excuse me, find out what the right configuration is and the right offer. But definitely it works, and what we see is that there are, at the moment, more and more hosting companies moving from the on-premise data centers to hyperscalers like AWS. And we see that we have also a lot of partners that run Plesk-based hosting on AWS or Azure and stuff like this.
Okay. Thanks, Jan. We are bang on time. Just checking if you have any further slides before we get into any more questions.
No, from my side, not.
Okay. Fine. I think
thanks a lot for listening. And as said before, if you have more questions, just send me a message. jan@plesk.com was the email address. Get in contact with me. I'm happy to answer them. Yeah, and try out Plesk. Go to plesk.com, get your license, try it out, check the new preview to get an impression of what Plesk will look like. Yeah, we'll be happy to chat with you. Thanks a lot and enjoy the rest of the conference.